Hello again, Lockpicking Paul here, and this freaky looking thing is a Castell Interlock, which is it's a piece of industrial safety equipment, and these are designed to prevent people from being harmed in the workplace. Now they're either part of a chain of locks which are all mechanically joined together. You unlock one, then you unlock another, then you unlock another one, and so on. They can all be chained together. Or they're part of a logical process. So in this particular case, this lock would secure a hatch or perhaps a chain sort of fence type arrangement. And you'd have a power switch right at one end of the chain. You'd have to turn the power off, pull the key out, put it into another locking mechanism, unlock that one, and then pull a second key, which then becomes free, and then you'd plug it into here to open the gate. At any part during that chain of operation, you can't sort of circumvent the process. The whole thing is designed to prevent a piece of machinery or a live circuit from operating when someone is doing maintenance on it. Now, this is a bit of a paradox lock, and I'll get to the paradox right at the end of this video. But for now, let's just deal with what we've got in front of us. So this is, it's effectively a tubular lock. And what you can see in the four corners of this center block here are these tubular pins. Those are the pins we've got to pick. And they're all tapered. So that means we've got to go around and around and around and around and keep going around until the lock finally gives and opens up. So first of all, how does it work? So this is the key for it. And those letters there, that's the key bitting. And there's a negative impression on the inside of the key. And that's what allows the key to settle down over the top of that block, like so. So it can be unlocked, and then we can release the thing that was securing the gate. Pretty straightforward. Okay, so how do we pick this thing? Well, we've got to put tension on that core, and there's a number of different ways you can actually do this. I made this tool initially, and this works fine. You would just put it in here like that. You put an extreme amount of tension on it, and occasionally that happens. The pick flies, or a tensioner rather, flies across the room. So it's not a great approach. But then I was sitting there staring at it, and I thought, is there another way? Actually, you can take something like a multi-pick Z-wrench. That'll go between the letters. I've opened it like that. You can take the thinner end of another multi-pick Z-wrench, and you can put it inside one of the letters, like so. That works. In fact, there are any number of variations for tensioning this core. Now, different locks come with different letters, but a variation of one of these, or perhaps that two-pronged affair we just had, you'll find one that works and gets it open. And I have indeed opened this lock with all of these things today. But what I thought I'd do is actually open this with standard tools. I'm going to use a standard 1.2 millimeter pry bar and a ball pick. And the ball largely because these pins are huge and there's a hole in the middle of them, so the ball kind of sits nicely, just catches those. And as we've got to go round and round and round in circles, it's nice to have a pick that effectively self-locates. Right, so it's going to take a little while, but the more tension you can put on this, the faster it picks. So I'm going to brace this, and I'm going to put a fairly unhealthy bend in this wrench. But watch where I'm trying to show you from this angle. Watch the position of this core, because you really do get a lot of movement from the core. Now, the first couple of pins that go, you really feel them. They do bind, some of them very, very tightly. So I'm going to just turn this slightly, because that allows me to actually just get on the pins faster. As it gets towards the end, you start to get a lot of core movement, quite a lot of noise as the pins start to set. But you do have to go around quite a few times to get this thing open. But do hang around for the end, because I wanted to show you the paradox. You can imagine if you had a big chain of these in a row, that'd be quite tedious to pick them all. Every single time I push one of the pins which is binding, that core moves just a tiny little bit. Right, that was quite a significant core movement. So it's getting close to being open now. I think that bottom right hand pin is set. Yeah, that was significant. I think it's about to go. There you go. Right, so just got to push this pin down slightly. Don't want to push it all the way around because it'll set to the next position, but you don't need to, because that's all it needs to move. Right, now let's reset it, and I'll show you the paradox. This lock, with its tapered pins and need for high tension, can be bypassed with a little piece of bent metal. So I made this earlier on, can you tell? And if I just straighten that up, what I'm going to do, because the pins basically, if you look at the key, are pushed flush with the body of the casing, that's the set height effectively. So all I've got to do is find a way of pushing all 4 pins flat against the flush with the holes, and it'll bypass the lock. So pop that in there like so, get my pick again and sort of just push that wire down onto the pins. It's fallen off that pin. Try something different. Earlier on when I was doing this, it was so easy. I'm going to take that out and just give it a bend. There you go. Easy peasy. So the question I would have when it comes to the paradox is, if it's that easy to bypass, and it's in an environment where it's probably never going to be picked, because if you open this lock when you shouldn't, someone might die, why would you bother with tapered pins at all? You don't really need them, and like I said, you can get by them. It doesn't make a lot of sense. So maybe there's another design reason for having tapered pins, but I can't think of what it is. But other than that, this is a thoroughly interesting piece of hardware, and I've really enjoyed messing around with it. So I hope you enjoy that. Something very different. Enjoy your picking. Cheers.